Okay, yeah, I guess we're gonna go ahead and get started.
There'll be a little introduction.
Yes, I'm sorry, from the, near the end of the song.
Oh. I just thought you said
I'll nod to you.
okay. No, I just thought in terms of the general start.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, I'm gonna start with
You
this
wanna
one
start
song.
now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
let me go put it live on that end of the room.
Okay,
So give me about 1 minute.
Okay,
to
sure,
hit the
sure.
button.
yeah, I thought it would
Okay.
start
We're
with
gonna
it.
start showing the place when you.
Oh, I'm
So-
sorry,
Before you, that's okay.
I'm sorry.
And Heather,
Oh, which one? This?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm upside down here. Right here, it's gonna start right here.
Oh. Okay.
so Heather, if you want to make any,
Yes,
if you want to make any announcements, you'll need to speak into the mic if you want them to hear it in the stream.
okay, I will.
Like this room isn't very big and all,
Oh,
but
I
if you
see.
want to talk from the piano, you'll need this mic
Oh,
I
okay.
basically set up for Avaches.
Okay, yeah, I'll move it, yeah, we were just gonna start with a song, just.
Well, that's fine, but when
Yeah.
you do speak,
When when I do speak, I'll use that. Is it on?
I haven't got it into
Oh,
the
okay.
house yet,
Okay.
but it's live. So you can. Okay, all right, so you're about ready.
Yes.
We'll go ahead and reveal you to the world.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
Okay. Testing, 1, 2, I don't think it's on. You heard me? Okay.
Can you lean into that?
Yeah. Testing, 1, 2, oh yeah, I hear it
When
now.
you use it, you'll need to be just 4 or 5 inches away from it.
Okay, just 4 or 5, okay,
So 1 second here, let me
okay,
do this, and you are live to the world.
okay. Thank you, everyone. Such a pleasure to meet you all here this evening. Welcome to Bird and Beckett. I know many of you are familiar with the place, so what can I do to introduce you? But I still want to say thank you for coming out tonight to meet us. I've come to you from very far away from Detroit, Michigan, so it's a pleasure. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Motown is in the house always. So you're probably wondering, what is this about? Several of the poets here are in a new anthology, and the book is called Black Fire This Time. And if some of you recall the first Black Fire, which came out in 1968, well, this is kind of a 21st century update of the collection, and it includes the work of over 100 poets and writers from across the country, the Caribbean, and Africa. And we're just so very proud of it. So we're kind of doing a national tour now, and we were determined to start off here in California. So it's just such a great pleasure to be here and to meet you all. And then we have some special guest poets with us here tonight as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the poetry portion of the show. And I'd like to invite up our first poet. Now, who did I have on the list here? Oh, I'd like to invite up Miss Venus Jones. Yeah. Such a pleasure to meet her in person. We've talked online and on the phone, and she's just such a beautiful spirit. And it means a lot in these times. So I'm very honored to meet her. Venus Jones, everyone.
Now, would you like me to read my poem from the
Anything you'd
or
like to
anything?
read, my dear. Yes,
Okay.
anything.
All right.
It's a night of poetry.
It's a night of poetry. Oh my gosh. I like to have fun with the band though.
I'm just
here.
gonna feel you and
Oh,
just.
yeah.
I can't help it. Let me put on my
Oh.
so cool hat. Okay. All right. So
Thank you. Yeah, I want
I
Yeah.
really
Actually, let me see.
I really enjoy just being in community and just being here. So happy Black History Month,
Yes.
right? And whoa, okay.
Too much energy.
Too much energy. We bringing it up. Bringing the noise. Okay. Actually, when I think of bring the noise, you should know that I was endorsed by Chuck D. Rock and roll inductee. Yes, he endorsed me. Nikki Giovanni endorsed my first book. She got her quote on the front, and that's She Rose. And then also, I'm very proud to say that a forward from Langston Hughes' first cousin, Marginal, she wrote the forward to my second book collection, which was called Lyrics for Langston. So, but this anthology that I'm a part of really makes me feel like the pivotal moment, a milestone moment, because I got a chance to be in a book with people that I looked up to as a poet. So when Heather and Kim chose my work and my poem Plight, it really just brought tears to my eyes, because it just meant that all the hard work, I even got a master's in English and poetry from Mills College, which is in the Bay Area as well, in Oakland. And right now, I'm still doing this work of art as activism, and I've been asked to help develop a center in San Jose, right next to City Hall, and across from San Jose State, and it's called it doesn't have a name yet, but we know that it meets at the intersection of spirituality, art, and activism. So wanting to continue to do this work, and when we think about Black Fire this time, we also think about James Baldwin. And James Baldwin walked across some of these streets, and he definitely loved this city we call San Francisco. And I'm just grateful to just be here and to just be amongst you today. We are small but mighty, and I just know that every spirit that's in here is supposed to be here. And I'm just glad that you would be willing to even listen to little old me. My mama named me Venus, after the goddess of love and beauty. And I want to also say, give it 40 days, 40 nights to anybody who's practicing. Today is Wednesday, Ash Wednesday. So if you don't know that, some people, they fast for 40 days until Easter, and that begins today. So on that note, wow, what do I do? She rose. I will do the title piece, and if you don't mind playing with me, something that feels uplifting. Because this is Black History Month, and I want to tell you a little bit about some of my favorite female heroes. She rose for some of my female heroes. With the power of her presence and the strength of her fight, her words caused wrinkled men to question slavery, and weary women, they grew imaginary wings for solo flight. Sojourner rose. Sojourner Truth, she rose. Oh, I know why the cage bird sings. Oh my, a landmark of first on a broken wing. Even though she was raped at 7 and a mother at 16 with a past rooted in pain, she said, I rise. And her poetry sings. Maya rose. Maya Angelou, she rose. She stood in muddy water and created clean lines with a clear vision. Hate drew an incision across her beautiful wall of monumental art. And like a veteran soldier in a bulldozing battle, rage surfaced. And it was ancestress women who led her to pick up the pieces of her beating heart. And Maya rose. Maya Lin, she rose. She was a Union spy with eyes in the back of her head. And over 1,000 crept in footsteps where she led. She forced them with a gun and said, live free or die. Whew. This female Moses taught them to walk, run, or fly. And Harriet rose. Harriet Tubman, she rose. At 15, she fought back against Little Rock, big fireballs, and acid attacks. In 1954, angry white mobs were ordered to open up the school door to blacks. There was no dance or after-class play with a bounty on your head. Dignity, just like freedom, is a state of mind, her grandmother said. And Melba rose. Melba Bill, she rose. She's floating on air in a silver spacesuit with a fearless smile. She holds 3 degrees in hand, and they seek to clone her mental style. This rising star brings blueprints to the Peace Corps and measures the length of courage and mental vigor. May rose. Mae Jemison, she rose. She sang of rotting bodies in America's very first protest song, Her Life Short. And the scar left on those soundtracks, lingering and long, strange fruit, would be read on the Congress floor because of the love that she blew into an open sore. Billie rose. Billie Holiday, she rose. She didn't spend time plucking her brows, knowing that inner beauty grows. In a big, bright Mexican dress, she reveled with art that tangled on toes. Her canvas celebrates a life of broken bones, fruits, and a thick thorn. She lived a life full of authentic expression in her search to be reborn. Frida rose. Frida Kahlo, she rose. A humane example before she took a stand by keeping her seat. She chose to fight despite the risk of a thrashed skull and dangling feet. Rosa rose. Rosa Parks, she rose. All right, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to yell out a name of somebody that rose for you on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. She rose. Lena Horne, Bessie Coleman, Angela Davis, Dolores Huerta, Toni Morrison, Ida B. Wells, Shirley Chisholm, Fannie Lou Hamer, Barbara Jordan, Eleanor Roosevelt, Mary McLeod Bethune. Each one arose among thorns, every vision in full bloom, and if we were an ancient Kemet, Nefertiti would have granted them tombs. But the thankless are more than a few. You see, my mama rose. Her name was Rose. And your mother rose, giving birth to something new. They rose like blossoming babies, budding freshly formed leaves, quenching the taste of light, morning dew. And I need each and every one of them to remind me that there's a Shiro in me, and there is a Shiro in you. All right. For the sake of time, I'm not sure if I can do one more or no. Oh, okay. Don't tell me that though, because this is too much fun. I never get a chance to play with the bass like this. This is fun. Okay, but I'm gonna take a deep breath with me. And I'm gonna try to figure out what poem wants to be here next. Because when I think about, well, this has been the busiest Black History Month of my life. Now that COVID is officially somewhat over, or we're kind of in a period of hope, right? As survivors of a very interesting time. And I think I want to do this piece. I'm thinking about, what should I do, Steve? I don't know. All right, I think I'm going to do this piece only because it's a band, but it's a dedication to jazz musicians. And I just like this piece, but it's called Dixieland. But I also feel like I should read from the play. Can I come back up later? I don't want to. Maybe later. But only because this poem is really for people like you. What's your beautiful name again? Hashima. Give it up for Hashima. This is all improv. I love when artists can come together of different disciplines and really just be in the moment and be free and just really be creative and not be afraid of being perfect. So thank you for playing with me. Ashe. Well, you know what? Believe it or not, I live with depression sometimes, and I live with anxiety. So even though I'm up here, I feel a little bit more safe up here sometimes. But I'm a little awkward, I feel sometimes, but that's okay, and y'all love me anyway. But when I think about the music as medicine, and I think about message music, I think about people like James Europe, who brought jazz to the world, and that's why in Paris, a lot of people, they kind of worship Black Americans because we brought a lot of culture to the world with jazz music, and even though sometimes it feels like it's gone away, this poem kind of lets you know that it stays in the heart, though. The heart of so many, and those of us who continue to carry the torch. This is called Dixieland. I've been weary. I was black misery, full of red passion, but blue, walking blue. Well, I heard this sound, and it's true that horn had a familiar tune. It sent sensations to the base of my roots. Oh, it was a cool flute. Had cats dressed in zoot suits doing the jitterbug while waiting in line. So I stopped, asked for the directions to the space and place where I could spend my dime. No longer on the outside looking in. I am no stranger. I'm what you call friend. With $10 in hand. She says, thanks for coming. Welcome to Dixieland. the bridge begins. Packed in at 9:05, all night, live. He flips his suspenders, anticipating the play, and I could watch him do that solo grind every day. He made that gold bell speak, and somebody hollered, "Talk to me, preach." Then he do that hip walk that made all the girls weep. Bass had braids. Trumpet had a fro. And that sax man, oh, he phoned with a glow. Blew my mind cool as silver riffs rippled on the cymbal. And the chimes. And it was nothing like a shot of rim from my buddy Rich. He turned into the boom clap. Boom clap. At the end of every line. Boom clap. Boom clap. We did it again. And then the piano man began to tend, tipping, toeing, and fingers across my heart. The midnight blues set starts, and his voice, it floated to and through that smoky room, and that soulful melody, it sparked a flame. We could taste eternal love, released all guilt and shame. The dark cornea of my right eye became misty, and my aching heart bled light. Colorful keys took me to a place up the scales as he tells the story of deliverance. Caramel fingers tracing ivory milk, and I tapped. Tapped out of the hell that society built. And baby, it was grand. Then the piano man rose from his bench, strolled to the center of the band with a black hat in hand. He threw it up, turned around, and caught it on the tip of his spit shine shoe. Boom, clack. The drum did a soft roll, and silence took its toll to a thunderous and gracious crowd. Oh, we hooted a constellation of praises loud. You know what they did? They bowed. Hey! Well, I could be up here forever, so I don't think I should just take a seat because I was about to go into Ella Fitzgerald, but I don't know. Just let me know when I can come back. I don't want to hog the mic.
Oh, can you make an announcement while I run to the boys' room?
Oh, I sure can.
Yeah. And if you guys enjoy me and you don't, say you want to follow, just check me out at Venus Love Jones on your social medias, and I'm at venusjones.com. And make sure you get the book. I might, if you stay a little longer, I might come back and do the play.
Bravo, bravo.
Thank you.
Everyone, another round of applause for Venus Jones. She brings so much joy and just a sparkle to the room. She really does. Yes, my pleasure. Everyone, I'd like to invite up Miss, is Zakia G.E.K. Part here? Oh, there she is. She's here. Are you ready to come up or you want to wait for a minute? It's up to you. Yeah, well, you ready? Yeah. Okay. I'd love to have you up here. I think I brought the bio for you. Oh, it's such a pleasure. I'm so glad you two could make it. Let me share a little bit about Zakia with you all as she gets ready to come up. Zakia G.E. Capehart is a writer, poet, storyteller, performance artist, visual artist, radio producer, and host. Zakia's poetry is published in several anthologies. Her radio shows are aired on KPFA 94.1 FM. She combines her artistic skills and medical background producing shows to educate and heal the community. Zakia also performs with her band leader, jazz vocalist, pianist husband, Bryant, Mr. B. Balling. Born in North Carolina, the family migrated to New York City when Zakia was a child. Oakland, California is currently where she resides with her husband. Zakia has been granted funds 3 times from the Akanani Foundation to write and perform productions to address community awareness in Oakland. Currently, she's working on the publication of her book of poems and short stories. Everyone, Miss Zakia G.E. Capehart.
How you doing, man? Hashima, man. Brian Pope. Nice to meet you, brother. I'll just kick back.
I'm doing a drone in C minor.
Okay.
And then I'm going to segue into a ballad in E flat major, E flat major 7 to A flat major 7. That's basically the basic thing. You hear how it goes to the F and go down to the G flat. You G minor. You hear it. Okay.
So I have the wrong glasses. Getting older is very interesting. I have the wrong glasses.
Can we have this mic on, please? Testing one. Testing one. Thank you. Good evening, family. My name is Brian B. Bowling.
And I am Zakia, G.E. Capehart Bowling. And we are the To Be New Cultural Gatherers. So thank you. We're so honored to be here today at Bird and Beckett. And this is jazz, poetry and jazz, an evening of poetry and jazz. So I'd like to begin by letting you know that I published this book, Ghana on My Mind, Poetic Reflections on Journeying to the Motherland, that you can purchase from me tonight, or you can go to Amazon, pretty much any bookstore. Marcus Books has it. And yes, so this is a book of poems and short stories. So tonight, I'd like to share with you a poem that I wrote for someone that I admired greatly that decided to leave the planet, and that is Phyllis Hyman. I was very hurt and just beside myself when she decided to leave, and so out of it came this poem that I wrote for her, and my mic is slipping here. Okay. I was able to tighten it. Thank you so much. Yes.
She tightened.
I saw yours kind of droop a little bit. Here we go. So let's make sure it's tight enough. Is it close enough? Yeah, it's not tight at all.
So while they're tightening the mics, I thank everyone for being here. And Heather, thank you so much for having Bryant and I. We are so grateful. And we're looking forward to tomorrow also at Moat. Yes, I'm ready.
I know she's gone, but she's not forgotten. I know she sang beautiful melody. Yes, Phyllis gone, but she's not forgotten. I know she gave her life to the let the rain follow me till I drench clear through me. No cares at all. You hear, let it fall. And if the cloud burst should fall, while the world plays run for run, raindrops play a melody, love supplies the harmony. Let it rain, let it rain, let it rain.
I was excited and worried all at once when the rain came that summer day at Wingate. I had waited for that outdoor concert and the opportunity to see this vocalist a long time. I prayed the concert would not be canceled. So when the decision came to use the Wingate High School auditorium, I was in ecstasy because at that moment, for me, the sun came out and dried every raindrop, even though it continued to rain. Now, my excitement elevated and my worrisome feelings dissipated. We were corralled into the small auditorium and packed to its capacity. Then we waited for Phyllis's entrance. I'll always remember the emotions that were evoked just by her appearance. Her beauty radiated the entire auditorium as she stately glided to center stage. Ms. Hyman was regal as well as sophisticated. And when she approached to greet the audience, silence filled the room. Everyone at that concert became enthralled, in awe, spellbound. Phyllis's presence had indeed enchanted us, commanding, without a doubt, our undivided attention. She was absolutely charismatic. With pores and charm, she then began to sing, luring her audience seductively with each note. Her deep and gentle eyes, inviting us to listen to stories of love. Suddenly, the audience started to respond with hands clapping, cheering, and words of fondness. It was as if our hypnotic state had been broken by the will of her magic. Phyllis's decorum was assured and indisputable. That hot and humid, rainy day in Brooklyn, New York, was the first time I had the honor and pleasure to experience the superb, magnificent, renowned, silky, sultry voice of Phyllis Hyman.
Let the rain follow me till I drench clear through me. No cares at all. You hear, let it fall. If a cloud burst should fall, while the world plays run for run, raindrops play a melody, and love supplies the harmony. Oh, let it rain, let it rain, let it rain, oh, let it rain, let it rain, let it rain, let it rain. Well,
Give it up for the musicians. So, Heather, would it be okay if I did something from my book?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you.
This is D minor to G minor. D minor to G.
So this poem is the first poem that I wrote for the book. At the time, I didn't know that I was writing it for the book because I had not planned on writing a book. And it's entitled Ghana, Oh Ghana. I actually wrote it in my head on the plane as I sat by Kala Brundage. And also another mate of West Oakland to West Africa, which is Wotawa International Poetry Exchange. We traveled together to Ghana for a poetry slam and to meet our poet partners. So this is Ghana, Oh Ghana, and Bryant, the name of your composition?
I give praise to the warrior king. I give praise to the warrior king for calling us home to find our true history, calling the people from over land and sea, calling us home. Calling us home. For many a year we've been in captivity, lost, stolen, and strayed from our true destiny. Now is the time to find our humanity, calling us home. Calling us home. Oh, warrior king, we salute you for being the first to call us home. We've been lost, stolen, and strayed. We've been scattered. But it's time for us to come home.
Traveling by air, across the sea, journey of a lifetime, finally coming to be. Land of my ancestors, history awaits. Unveiling roots, opening wounds where scars are left to heal. Weaving spirits and touching souls. Ghana, oh Ghana, constantly on my mind. When I arrive, what do I hope to find? Will you be there, waiting to welcome and receive me with embracing arms? Will I feel your love running through me until my cup runneth over? Here I sit, staring out at clouds, silently praying, God, Ghana. Your distant, disconnected family is now returning home to a country once thought of as the land of no return.
Give praise to the warrior king for calling us home to find our true destiny. Calling the people from over land and sea. Calling us home. Calling us home. Calling us home. Calling us home.
Thank you so much for your attention. Appreciate it so much. And give it up for the musicians.
Ashe. Ashe. Take me right to Ghana.
You got the book if you need one.
Yeah, okay. Oh man, thank you, sir. Good to see you.
It's good to be here. Man, I finally got it. I'm so glad you made it. I'm so glad I got it too. Everyone, another round of applause for Takia G.E.K. Part and her husband, Brian Balling. I mean, what a beautiful duo. When I first heard them a few months ago on one of our Zoom readings, we were still doing virtual readings back then. I was just blown away, and I'm just so happy to be able to see them perform in person. So it's a real honor, and thank you so much. Everyone, now I'd love to introduce and welcome up here on the stage Raymond Nat Turner. Yeah. He has been just, through the process of us putting our book together, he kept me so inspired, and I just enjoy talking to him. He's a delight to talk to and correspond with. So it's a real pleasure to meet him in person. So everyone, give it up for Raymond Nat Turner.
Oh, Heather, give me a time check. So how much time are you working on that?
Yeah, what's up? Good 6 minutes?
6 minutes? Okay. Do a little warm up or something. I got this one. I don't know. Medicine man. Djembe chest. Orchestra. In his vest. Speaking sinew, muscle, mother tongue. Ancestral spirit. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Bird with supple wings spread wide. Flapping against the tide. Soaring, spinning circles of song, ever wider, 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 wider. Medicine man. Song shaman. Dispensing tinctures and tonic of myrrh. Pulling roots from deep in the earth. Using harmonious melodic infusions. healing terminal spiritual contusions. Anyway, that's a little something. Just kidding. Anyway, I want to go from the book because I got a couple of pieces in there. I'm so grateful and overjoyed to meet Heather, as she talked about. We have been in communication, and her wonderful husband, her gentlemanly husband, Royce. So he's originally from New Orleans, so he's, he knows about food and cuisine. Okay, so I have a couple pieces in there. That I'd like to see if I can. This one is called Essential Work. Lift it up.
No, the one on the left.
Okay, here we go. We'll always need race car drivers roaring down the streets where children chase balls. Like we'll always need peaceful protesters pepper sprayed like cockroaches. We'll always need sleeping 7-year-olds shot while dreaming of dolls, sleepovers, tooth fairies. We'll always need children playing with toy guns in parks, executed before becoming Hulk Hogan's. We'll always need doors kicked in and our daughters and sons slaughtered in wee hours, even if it is the wrong address. We'll always need elderly parents whacked for accidentally pressing emergency alerts. Like we'll always need mentally ill loved ones slaughtered in our homes. We'll always need men rushing pregnant wives to hospitals, shot for speeding, and fathers of 6 chokehold lynch for hustling too hard. We'll always need young women who drive and smoke, stopped and suicided, and mothers wearing masks wrong, wrestled down in subway stations as their 4-year-olds watch. We'll always need wallets mistaken for guns, tasers for Glocks, fleeing black men shot in their backs, and bridegrooms butchered night before their weddings. We'll always need skanking hearts, skanking tasered hearts, skanking in reggae rhythms and broken broomsticks rammed up men's rectums for fun. We'll always need bruised, bloody, disfigured faces, eyeballs dangling from sockets. We'll always need drugs and guns planted, growing into cases, concertina wire, COVID-19. We'll always need right hooves raised testifying to judges and juries on the need for knees on necks, 56 licks or 41 shots served to protect property. And then this piece, the second piece that I had in the book is called It's Capitalism, Baby.
Yes, it is. Hello.
And the interesting thing about this piece, it was written during the pandemic, and it ends with the same word it begins with. So maybe see, whoever can tell me what that is, I have a special prize for them at the end of the grave diggers feed hungry heart island trenches, plain pine boxes. Stacked 3 high, they rest side by side in solidarity. For now, they share island real estate with AIDS and 1918 flu fallen. New York is not new to this. Ask African burial ground ancestors. It's capitalism, baby. 799 died today, tasered with temperatures of 103.5 and shortness of breath. A bus driver, track worker, and a couple of conductors I know on site and speak to came down with chills. They've breathed welding manganese, steel dust, and diesel fumes, decades for New Yorkers. Yet, they couldn't be tested. It's capitalism, baby. What if they'd whispered 3 little words, pleaded 12 times instead of 11 like Eric Garner, as the long, white, tatted arm of the law crushed his windpipe? What if they pleaded, I can't breathe, 12 or even 13 times? Would they've been tested, treated, and alive today? That's not MTA's concern. Bottom line, liability lawsuits are it's capitalism, baby. Nurses slash garbage bags open, using them as PPE, personal protection equipment. Docs reuse gloves and masks. Multiple patients in the richest country in the world. It's capitalism, baby. Hand sanitizer was $15 a bottle yesterday. $50 today, if you can find it. Ventilators were $25,000 yesterday, $45,000 today, and climb in. It's capitalism, baby. If water is life, hand washing's a lifesaver. Unelected emergency management cut Detroit water off and poisoned Pennywise Flints. Oh, please. It's capitalism, baby. San Francisco hotels sit empty, the unhoused shelter in place below freeways and overcrowded shelters and on cold convention center floors. Oh, well, it's capitalism, baby. Parasites self-isolate on swanky yachts, toasting tax breaks, looting labor's fruits, sucking up shares, senators, Congress members, and blood. Leeches storm the Hamptons, hoarding, greedily buying meat, frozen foods, filling extra McMansion freezers while working-class shoppers tussle over toilet tissue or stand their ground in long lines buying guns. It's capitalism, baby. Cars sob in food bank lines stamped insufficient funds a mile long, while farmers plow perfect cabbage heads and green beans back into black soil, and ivory rivers swell from dairy farmers dumping millions of gallons of milk in manure pits, and chicken processors smash 750,000 eggs a week for profit omelet obscene food fights. It's capitalism, baby. Return to normal? That Titanic sailed months ago. It does seem, however, that it left the shore its grave diggers. Thank you for your kind attention and generous applause. And once again, I would like to thank Heather and Kim McMillan, because this is really a labor. It's a labor of love, and it's a labor of literature. And so thank you so very much for all that you've contributed.
Thank you again. Another round of applause for Raymond Nat Turner. That's one of my favorite poems in the collection. It's capitalism, baby. It was the way, and I heard it in my head that way, and that's exactly how he said it when I finally got to hear him read it before.
Yeah, let me say this, Heather. You know, my dentist was telling me that the other day too. She knows it too.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
it's just it's just got that ring. Yeah, that's awesome. That means it's. That means it's good. That means it's good. Everyone, it's my great pleasure to welcome up a wonderful lady that I had the pleasure of meeting and getting to know. And I reached out to her and she was so kind to me. I didn't know hardly anybody in San Francisco, and she was just opened up so many doors and ideas and spent time talking to me and gave me some great pointers. And it's a pleasure to have her here with us today. And she's the founder, director of Right Now San Francisco Writers. And it's just such a pleasure to get to see her in person, and she's going to share some of her poetry with us tonight. She's way single, and she's on her way up, everyone. Hey.
Okay.
Try to stay.
All right. Okay. Well, I feel so honored to be here, Heather. I just it's an incredible honor, and thank you so much. And I think it was sort of one publisher to another, except she's been doing it since 1999, and I've only been doing it for the last since 2016. So I am a baby. I have a lot to learn. But yeah, she was kind enough to reach out to me, and we had an hour-long Zoom conversation, and she was just telling me about her life and her experiences, and I was sharing some of mine, and yeah, and I told her Black art and literature is really important, and it is foundational to American culture. But multiculturalism is also important. And if we don't have that unity of all of us coming together, that's what it's going to take to make change. So she was kind enough to invite me to read tonight, and also two of the folks. I have an organization called Right Now SF Bay, and we put together 5 anthologies so far, and I do free or donation-based writing workshops twice a month, and they're open to everybody. I don't presume to teach anybody. It's all about giving people the confidence to find their true voice, and the confidence to believe that what they say and what they've experienced is of value, and that there's a commonality. Oh my God, we had this amazing conversation, Heather and I, about spirituality and eternal truths and all this stuff. And I'm going, oh yeah. It's just like, it's many paths up the same mountain. And one of the things about getting involved in this work on an organizational level is you're blessed to meet so many amazing people that have each taken on a little piece that they see that they can do. And when the news brings us down, I just think about all the people I have been blessed to meet doing this work. Like Eric Whittington, our host tonight, who is just amazing. Thank you so much, Eric. You do so much. So I'm going to read a couple of things here. This first piece I actually wrote before. It was in the era of complacency for some people. It was before Breonna Taylor and George Floyd. It might have been even earlier. It might have been even before Michael Brown. It's called Sheer Luck. Swerving suavely through life, gyroscope spinning true, inner momentum never disrupted, sliding along on greased wheels, quarters jingling in your pockets, winning every coin toss. You can afford to be flipped. Blank eyes, milky innocence, a careless toss of smooth flowing hair. Some people are golden. Just lucky, I guess. There was a time when I worried my young son would end up in jail. Dead, drunk, or in jail. He had rocks in his brain, glass in his heart. The alphabet did flips on the page. And girls who didn't think Asian Americans date-worthy enough confided in him endlessly about their jut-jawed crushes. The day the cops caught my son crouching behind a bush, smoking pot with his pudgy white friend, pockets loaded with pen knives and a sharpened screwdriver, they could have been sent to juvie on a conveyor belt to prison. But smoking while Asian and carrying weapons while wussy were not punishable offenses. They were the wrong class and the wrong color for involuntary servitude. So the cops just laughed and brought them home to their mamas. Just lucky, I guess. Like when I was stopped for speeding towards my ex-in-law's latkes. My new-to-me Mazda was so quiet, I didn't realize I'd edged over 80. The CHP let me off with a smile. Just lucky, I guess. Not like my black sister friend, stopped for a broken taillight in her dream machine, a new to her BMW convertible, cherry red with a slightly frayed top. The cop didn't like her attitude. Threw her upside the car, tossed her in jail, impounded the vehicle. To ransom it, I loaned her $400 she didn't have. She couldn't hold down a job for long. She asked too many questions. Her gaze was too direct, her body too ripe. The last word she heard before she died from elective surgery was a joke about her black butt from a well-meaning white male who called himself a friend. He was proud he got her to laugh and laugh and laugh. What else could she do? Just lucky, I guess. What you see is who you are. That's dedicated to a dear friend of mine who was in the same ATC actors workshop that Denzel Washington and Danny Glover was in. But she was too uppity to make a success. And, she never had a chance. She was in For Colored Girls, the San Francisco production of For Colored Girls. But she just was too outspoken. Anyway, bless her soul. She was like a sister to me. So, Auntie Lou's Rag Rug. This is dedicated to the hospitality of a housemaid and a Pullman porter that I used to hang out at their house in the Haight-Ashbury in the 60s. This rag rug migrated to the kitchen when you bought green shag carpet for the living room that you only used when the preacher came. You kept cold chicken and pound cake at the ready for anybody that dropped in. Little did we think in those days how hard you and Pops worked to piece together what you gave so freely to your kids and their multicolored friends like me. This rag rug is as beautiful as the rough brown hands that made it, coarsened from scrubbing floors and washing windows, blistered by hot irons and grease from spattering pans, as you cooked and cleaned for the white folks up the hill. This rug is as beautiful as the heels slapping out of your slippers, the wisps of cottony gray escaping from your kerchief, the smile lines crinkled around your eyes, the worry grooved deep in your brow. This rug is as beautiful as the rag bag in your back room, filled with the ghosts of overalls and t-shirts, Sunday suits and party dresses, house coats, and the unseen presence of prison orange. Those odds and ends traced your family's passage out of the South and into hope that leaked slowly like a sad balloon into a limbo land of corporate hypocrisy and police misconduct. Perhaps you shielded us too much, raised us in hopeful times, unprepared for a society that relentlessly takes without thanks in perpetual thirst for more, focused on their upward trajectory, blind to the toil and trouble you paid for each small gain. Your smile curtained eternities of pain, but you could tell real from fake. Your rug was free of polyester dreams and polysyllabic nightmares. It was honest as cotton, picked by the ancestors, mud brown and indigo, old school plaids and funeral black, like your old wooden rosary, worn from so much praying. Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone, another round of applause for She's Away Single. Very good work. That last one, you had, as they say, good finish. You had a good finish on it. Very nice. So now we'd like to invite up, is there a Christy Rika Perkins here? Christy? Okay. Christy, are you ready? Wonderful. Thank you. We haven't met, so I didn't know. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're so happy to have you here with us. It's so nice to make these new acquaintances and friends to have here in San Francisco. So it's a pleasure, and we want to hear your distinctive voice. And after Christy, I guess I'll prepare the next person so they'll know. Is there a Nazila Jameson? Nazila Jameson? Okay, no, okay.
Nazila was not able to.
Oh, okay, thanks for telling me. Yeah.
Dondi Dancy.
Dondi Dancy will be next. And then we will have our big finish with the queen of the hour, Ms. Avacha. She'll be, yes, okay. Thank you.
Hi there. Thank you very much. It's a nice to see all of you all, your faces out here. I'm a teacher by day, so I just walk down the hill. And I have this one poem that I wrote during COVID. It's called Cycles. Series of events that repeat themselves regularly in the same order. Months, seasons, cycles caused by rotations and revolutions of moons, planets, stars, galaxies, zodiacs and horoscopes, the I Ching conjoined, gears in a timeless clock. Speaking of revolutions, Because of the spread of the virus, merry-go-rounds went still. Kids couldn't play outside. Hot summer, the spike of police violence, gang violence started earlier. Personal altercations, protests, riots, curfews. Some cycles are meant to be broken. Students plugged in but not charging, informed and tuned in but disconnected. 3 R's are not enough to still the inner agitation, emotional disturbance. Some need to be angry to deal with depression. At this point, I'm like Audre Lorde, just trying to teach how to think, not what to think. Speaking of rotations, because of the spread of the wildfires, repeated evacuations become seasonal, while coyotes, bears, mountain lions go urban. Not sure if people still say once in a coon's age, because a coon's age ain't very long these days. So we all need to do things differently this time around. Cyclical unemployment, labor turnover, evictions, people treated like renewable resources, like cogs in the machine, built and maintained by greed, running on our fears, our lower nature, on blood, sweat, and tears. Speaking of moons, there was a blue moon in 2020. Full hunter's moon on Halloween. Masked trick-or-treaters grabbed goodies from DIY shoots. A giant eyeball and caped crusaders watched a fire dancer. I looked up and wondered, does God's observance keep our world from falling? Or is it the other way around? Thank you.
Everyone, another round of applause for Kristen. Thank you very much. It's my distinct pleasure now to welcome up Ms. Dondi Dancy. Yep. All right, Dondi Dancy.
It's gonna be fire.
Hey, everybody. So, Miss Abachi, it's so nice to meet you, and I know this is one of your favorites that I wrote, so I have to perform this.
Well, thank you.
And it is called Yes, Brother Marley. We are the hopes and the dreams of the slaves who ran, the squaws who walked the trails of tears, the Asians who stood in the muck and the mud with blacks and Native Americans plugging Lake Mead, building Hoover's motherfucking dam. We are the Mexicans who chased Davy Crockett's punk ass behind a tree after he attacked a village filled with the elderly, women and children. We are the Puerto Ricans who claim their heritage and refute the need to be a commonwealth of the land of the free. We are the countless men, women, and children, regardless of race, color, creed. We are tired, sick, and goddamn tired of the lies wrapped in hate and bigotry, not bows, and definitely not tucked under a fragrant Christmas tree. And we are everyone else sprayed by water hoses or who sat where they wanted or where they were told they should not be. We are the ones that walked the Pettus Bridge and the ones who offered the voters' rights activists a ride anywhere across the dirty South, but especially in, around, and near Mississippi, regardless of ethnicity. And despite the best efforts, we are not ashamed, and courage is the sound produced by our collective percussive hearts. And individually and collectively, we are simply doing what Brother Bob Marley asks that we do. Getting up, standing up, demanding our rights, keeping up the fight. And she is always tells me my mouth is going to get me in trouble. So, trigger warning. This is called snake oil.
Well,
3 things which are no longer true. Giving women the right to vote was a gift to those of us who sit when we pee. Integration would be the downfall of society, and barefoot and pregnant is all it takes to make a woman happy. 2 things which will always be true. The earth is round and vast, boundless, and vast and boundless since the beginning of time. The sky is and forever shall remain blue. 1 endearing lesson you need to learn. America became great in 1773 when Phyllis Wheatley created and seized invisible opportunity. Now, 1 meaningful lesson I need to teach you. A feminist is a watered down version of a badass, fearless lioness dressed in a business suit, dazzling bloodless diamonds, and rocking a natural hairdo.
well,
Okay, do I have time for one more?
Yeah, one more.
One more? Okay, so then this is kind of fun. It's called On Being Between Young and Old and a Woman, or just plain old me. The thing is, I am a collection of desires, dreams, and demands, with more issues than any print publication on a newsstand, with layers, multifaceted, pressurized, and inclusions somehow deemed worthless, yet diamonds are made the same way. What I really want is for you to know me, to peel past the outer surface, the textured leather toughness that you call strong, for you to see the authentic fiber of my core being, the delicate flower the world tends to trample upon. And as I wish to scrub the negative perception you have of me beyond white glove clean, I realize the futility that exercise will bring. After all, it's the 21st century and constructs designed to imply bias or beneath the vibration, the optimism being alive and a woman innately brings. And as a result, I'll remain a beautiful collection of desires, demands, and dreams, but you and your bullshit will not be featured in my next issue when it's published this spring.
Well,
Thank you, everybody. Nice to meet you.
everyone, another round of applause for Miss Dante. Your work is delightful, delightful. Very good, very good. Well, everyone, we've come to the time to honor one of the most wonderful, outstanding, and accomplished musicians and artists. I'll share a little bit of her bio with you, as if you really needed to know it. You probably all know it a lot better than me, but once I came across her, it's just been a life-changing experience, and I'm just so honored that she was able to make it here. I appreciate the effort she took to get here, Miss Avacha. Poet, playwright, multi-percussionist, photographer, teacher, Avacha has been published in English and Spanish in the USA, Mexico, and Europe, and in more anthologies than she remembers. She's an award-winning poet and multi-instrumentalist who has opened for Betty Carter in New York City, Peru's Susana Baca at San Francisco's Encuentro Popular, and Cuba's Jemayi Pavel, and played with Rasan Roland Kirk, Bobby and Louise Cespedes, and John Handy. Everyone, Avacha.
Oh, and I'm gonna need one of those since Raymond is there? Can I?
Okay.
What do you want? Back here. Can we move this? And I
Yeah,
can change this
sure.
one?
Can we face the audience better?
Hey, thank you, folks, for coming out. And you know, Donde Dancy and I have been friends on through the what do you call it, the Zoom. I'm so grateful for all these computer geeks who kept us together when the pandemic shut down the universe. And you can tell she's a nice, quiet, reserved type. I'm so glad I got a chance to meet her. And you know, while he's setting this up, I really want to say, this book, if you don't have a copy of this book, you have to have this book. Not only because the other Blackfire book did not include any of us, meaning females, but you know, because there's so I when I was asked to be part of it, I had no idea what was going to be, and I submitted to my dear friend Dr. Kim McMillan. When I got a copy of this book, I fell out and broke down crying for hours. In the book with James Cleveland and James Baldwin, forgive me, James Baldwin and Margaret Walker, two of my greatest heroes, and a whole bunch of other heavyweights. This book is so powerful. Raymond Nat Turner, my brother by another mother, is in this book. I mean, there's so many people in this book that I love madly who have been around since dirt got dirty, and some folks that nobody ever heard of before who are absolutely great poets. It takes guts to put out a book like this. 500 pages, and it is powerful. So if you don't have a copy, please do yourself a favor and get a copy. Let's see. Can you hand me a copy of that book? And I'm not going to do it right away, but I'm going to do a couple. Oh, great. Okay. No, not that. My book.
This one,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Just put it right here. Just right here. Thank you. I'm going to do a couple of pieces from the book and also something from my book. Anyway, as I say, please get a copy of the book. It's just, it's really, it's a mind blower, and it's unbelievably diverse. So I'm very honored to have in the book a couple of pieces. This is one. It's called On Romanticism. And I basically wrote it because everybody says poets, and especially when it comes to black and brown and red and yellow poets, we're not romantic enough. We're not talking about the breeze beneath the trees caresses our knees, and we're not so abstract you don't understand it, which they think is what makes poetry great. So I finally decided to write a poem on romanticism. I would like to fly like the hummingbird, floating on inspiration and sing mystical songs of love, standing still in midair on a cushion of metaphors. I'd love to lie back and dance on the wind, philosophizing about life and enjoy the joy of living without having to worry about where the next meal is coming from. I admit it. I would love to write pretty poetry about pretty flowers and the beauty of freedom and have the time to enjoy it, but pretty flowers like freedom are pretty rare around here. In my part of the city where even dreams cost more than I can afford. And the only flowers I get to see, they live in store windows or lay dead in the streets covered with wine and snot and God knows what. But our beautiful children are watching. They watch like urban butterflies hibernating in concrete cocoons. They watch and they grow and watch and never stop dreaming of becoming poets. The next poem I'm going to read from the book, and I'm so glad that Kim accepted this one because I hear so many people talk about, you know, we have this hero, this one hero, and I want to say right up front, because people say I'm trying to negate the contributions of a Harriet Tubman or a Nat Turner. No, I'm not. I'm just saying that there are a lot of Harriet Tubmans and Nat Turners that nobody acknowledges. Every place they brought slaves, there have been rebellions. Major rebellions. Major rebellions. So this poem is called Never Alone, and I talk about a lot of those people. And if you don't recognize, and I guarantee you will probably won't recognize 90% of the names in here, please do your homework. Never alone. We have never been alone. Marcus Garvey, Arturo Schoenberg, David Walker, Ida B. Wells, Dessalines, and Queen Nzinga, and all those other incorruptible ancestors who showed their contempt for slavery and servitude by spitting in the face of evil and jumping overboard and freeing their souls, proud, unchained souls whose restless spirits still roam the ocean floor, stamping their presence on our dreams and minds and hands, revealing their essence and creativity all over the globe. We were never alone. Zumbia Palmares, Kawaya, aka John Horse, Harriet Tubman, and Argentina's El Negro Falucho, our beautiful, brilliant ancestors manifest themselves in life-saving rhythms, rhythmic vitamins like La Bomba, bold rhythmic magic revitalizing our lives like with samba, rumba, lando, juba. They sing to us in daydreams and dance with us on stages. Their tears become our paintings, our books and poems, and feed our self-esteem when life tries to get in our way. We will never be alone. Ya Esantawa, Denmark Vesey, Granny Nanny Alonso de Ajescas, and Gaspar Janga, the unstoppable freedom fighter hero of Veracruz, who reincarnated themselves in each and every one of us, said, hell no. We are here, we are free, and no matter what they say, we're here today and we're here to stay. We are the voice of the millions of ancestors whose names we never got a chance to know. Ancestors who know that some of us are brave enough to know their truth, to know that we were born to tell their truth and sworn to repaying their sacrifices every day with our actions, a sacred legacy, written in blood, forever inscribed in our souls. An internal tattoo, an inescapable reminder to never let us forget to remember the price they paid for us to know that we were never alone, never, never alone. We were never alone. We are never alone, and we will never, never, ever be alone. Forgive me. Eric, do you have some water? While he's bringing that up. As a teacher, a friend was up here talking about teaching. I'm just hearing quite a few of us in this room, teachers. I don't know what it is about teachers and poetry, but we seem to kind of go together. And I wanted to do this one because I get sometimes so sick and tired. That's enough. Thank you. Some of the youngsters and some of the old folks talking about, oh, if I don't know it, I don't need to know it, you know. Oh, what are you talking about that stuff for? This is a whole new day. Yeah, right. It's all over. It's new. You know, get over it. Who? So what I'd like to do is call up my kind brother, another brother from another mother. Can I give it? Heshima Mark Williams. He is wonderful to be part of honored to be part of a musical group called Alache Modupwe. Modupwe means gratitude. And once upon a time in another life, I was married to a gentleman from Nigeria. May he stay there forever. Oh, you didn't hear that. Anyway, but he used to say that I was always talking about how grateful I was for this, that, and the other. If you have the opportunity to work with kind of musicians I work with, you have a lot to be grateful for. And he's one of them. And this poem I wrote, it's in my book. And this poem really kind of hurts a lot of times when I hear people talking about how much we should be forgetting all this stuff, because the reality is it wasn't too long ago that if a person that looked like me or Raymond or Dondi or Heshima wanted to write, if we were lucky, they'd cut off a finger. And if we really forced the issue, they cut off a whole hand. And I can't forget that. You see, I believe in ancestral memory, and they talk to me a lot. So can we get some? He knows me a lot. My favorite music's jazz, Latin jazz, and gut bucket blues. So give me some blues. This is called Still Paying the Price. Yeah. It's come to my attention more times than a few that there are folks still out there embarrassed by me. I said they're waiting for me to act my age, to wise up and grow up, forget about feeding my soul on a diet of music and poetry. Instead of stuffing my psyche with envy and gold, they said that they're waiting for me to, they're praying for me to wake up and drop all that artsy-fartsy stuff they have the audacity to call immature nonsense. One half-drunk intellectual phony even told me my lifestyle could dishonor our mission of uplifting tradition. demanding I surrender to the blandness of their reality. Get up off my big artistic behind and find a little good old-fashioned upwardly mobile pride. Pull my head in out of fantasy land and get myself a real job. Join the morning army of the nondescript blitz out in some nameless cubicle and lose myself among the lost hordes of the respectably bored and the boring. But the gods chose to smile on me. Wrap the gift of song on me, and when the spirits speak to me, it always comes out poetry. And with every wind that blows my way, it talks to me. It begs me to keep on asking the same old question. How many ancestors had to lose their hands for me to be able to write this poem? Has the ambition to rise blinded some of our eyes? And the quest for acceptability lodged like stones in our ears, leaving us deaf, making us forget. It was the unconquered power of our music and song that kept us keeping on, kept us strong through the lynchings and the burnings and the stonings. It was our creative fire, creative torch that lit our desire to inspire. It was the blue rhythm in our gift. The gruesome dues behind the spiritual power in our songs all along the road to an always elusive goal called freedom. This is the gift that some would like to sit on the back burner. A blessing that some others would just love to ignore. Forgetting those times when we were their all, I say, and there was nowhere else to go. They don't even know that they are what they're running from. How many hands? I say how many hands were lost for us to earn the unasked for right to become the backdrop for their unending pompous talkathons. Nothing more than court jesters relegate to ambiance. New Age clowns or some modern-day technologically hip plantation. Mindless entertainment for the literati who've obviously forgotten that the gift of intellect in the hands of an insecure fool can become a curse that clogs the mind and self-destructs and gets swallowed up, lost in the shallow hell of an inevitable but cruel retribution. A hell born of self-hate, a bitter, unhealthy dose of disrespect turned in on itself. And even though we're still ignored by some of our own, and I know we're never, ever going to get anywhere near our 40 acres and a mule, we always got this gift. I say we always got this gift. It's written all over every single one of the billions of cells in our bodies. This gift. A stubborn old hard-headed ancestor's wish. This gift. An undefeated dream. This gift paid for by hundreds of amputated hands and broken necks. Bizarre decorations left hanging from too many trees. This gift, an omnipotent patient wish that refuses to die in this poet's eyes. And because of some of us so-called artist types, continuing to refuse to stick our heads in the convenient sands of selective amnesia. Somewhere. I say, somewhere this evening the ancestors are dancing, laughing and dancing and stirring it up, even in the stoic, too cool to groove halls of academia, laughing. I said they're laughing because not even fear could stop us from writing. Dancing because I'm still asking, what was the cost? Can anybody tell me what was the cost? How many hands were lost in order for me to write this poem? Heshima Mark Williams. Thank you, brother man. Do I have a chance for two more? Okay. Since my kind brother Raymond is here, I know he likes this poem. Now, if you got my book, With Every Step I Take, this book, With Every Step I Take 2, is that book plus almost 100 more poems. So if you want to get a whole new book, you don't only get Blackfire this time, please get a copy of this one. And it's in English, Spanish, and Spanglish. And it's about time, you know, because it's really amazing. Folks play so many games. I have a lot, as I said, I love blues nut. And I go down to Mississippi and places like that a lot because I love gut bucket blues. You know, the Chicago blues is nice, Oakland blues, but I like that Delta blues sound. And so I've made a lot of friends down there. And if you do anything like, if the people come from, even from New Orleans, and they speak, you know, the Creole, or people come from the Caribbean and speak Spanish or French or what have you, ooh, look, they think they're white. The truth of the matter is, there were people who were enslaved all over the place, speaking all of those languages and more. And those people all over the place, black folks in China, black folks in Mexico, black folks in Venezuela, black folks in Venezuela and Argentina, Trinidad and Tobago, they know about us here, but we don't know about anybody. I mean, we're the only one. We're the chosen. Give me a break. So my book is deliberately in English, Spanish, and Spanglish. And if you would please do yourself a favor, check it out. Anyway, this particular poem, my poppy was a dancer, and Raymond loves this poem for obvious reasons. And Poppy was darker than Raymond. And I think that's one of the reasons that he likes the poem. But it also is about a guy who is, people stereotype us as men and women, what we're supposed to be like. And all women do not have that, cuddly kind of. Poppy was that person for me. He was the biggest support that I had. He was the one that knew that what I was doing wasn't crazy and that I was hearing music and everything, and he supported that. So I'm definitely a daddy's girl. And I put this poem out not only for people like Raymond, but for those guys that I know who work really hard at being good fathers. And they don't get the credit they're due. They don't get the credit. So I want to put that out to all those fathers. One of the sick things that they've done to us as people, as black people in particular, this caste system, this color caste system, this you're too dark or too light. What a crock of shit. Forgive my language. You can't be too dark or too light. We're the color we're supposed to be, whatever that is. And so I want to put that out, especially for teachers. You see kids hiding their hair or hiding their head or playing games, making the society, making them feel ashamed of who they are. Let them know it's a crap. That's a bunch of crap. And tell them how beautiful they are. So I dedicate this not only to my father and to Raymond, but I dedicate to all the people who have to deal with that nonsense and to all those good fathers out there. So let me find Poppy was a dancing man. And he definitely was that. My mother and father were both dancers, by the way. And she was the opposite side of the spectrum of the color, very, very, very light. And they produced me, which is a very nice thing. And also, it's not only in this book, it's in, Detroit. Talk about Detroit. The Heather comes from. Detroit is full of so many, not only amazing musicians, but it's literary giants. And it's in a book that came out of Detroit. She might want to talk about her a little bit later, called Adam of Ife. Another book that I was so honored to be in with all these heavyweights. So, Poppy was a dancing man. Where art thou? Where Dios mío? I should know where it is, but I don't. And I should have brought it, but I didn't know Raymond was going to be here. Aha, here we are. So I know if I didn't do it, he would he would say nasty things about me. So this is, Poppy was a dancing man. You know what? Feel like doing something, maybe some Afro blue or something like that. Another one of those beautiful, dark brothers that was a good friend of mine, the great Mongo Santa Maria, who lived not too far from here when he lived in this area. Poppy was 25 shades blacker than midnight. Blue black, they called him. Poppy was a pretty boy, a pretty man, skin so smooth, he looked like he was carved out of ebony. Poppy never just walked, he was smooth like his skin, moved like a panther, like a well-sung song. Poppy was beautiful to watch. Wore his pride like armor, like a weapon, like a shield, and cities designed to make him disappear. He wore his blackness like a badge of honor. Moved through the whiter-than-thou madness with the grace of greased lightning, danced his way across strange stages that tried to bury him in the filth of their fear. Poppy was 25 shades blacker than midnight. The kind of unstoppable black that they couldn't hold back no matter how much they tried. Poppy was untouchable. Even when they tried to get at him by trying to get to me, he danced in their faces on all their sacred places and made a joke of their ignorance by stealing their shows on their stages and giving unasked for lessons on the real black power, his unshakable power, our undeniable survival power, Poppy. I said, Pappy was 25 shades blacker than midnight. 25 times blacker than was tolerable by terrified white folks, by immaculate Negro jet setters, hair too bad to be so confident, too African looking to be so proud, too loud to be so arrogant, too damn black. Or so they said. But even when black was a never to be spoken word, they couldn't stop his beauty. I mean, like when Poppy smiled, even the wind held its breath. And while all the foolish tongues rattled, he danced, he danced, and he spread his blackness across the whiteness of the stolen land, and he danced, and he danced, and he danced, and he danced, and he kept holding my hand, held on real tight till I was strong enough to see the light and write this poem. Poppy was 25 shades blacker than midnight, blacker than midnight, blacker than midnight, blacker than midnight. Heshima Mark Williams. Thank you, Brother Man. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna finish off with one thing. Thank you so much for supporting this. Please get yourself a copy of the book and let other people know about it, because it's outside of being in all these wonderful people. It also is a book that should be in all the schools and what have you. And I say, not only for those superstars that everybody considers the superstars, but a whole bunch of new folks that you might not have heard of before in this book. And it's just absolutely awesome from beginning to end. So please give Heather and my dear friend Kim a big hand for producing this masterpiece. And I am eternally grateful for being in it. Okay, I was going to do one more, and of course something else jumps in my face. So just this one other thing here. I wrote this poem the day after, on the November 9th. You all know that November 9th is the day after the elections. And I wrote this on a November 9th when I woke up and my worst nightmares had come true, because I knew that nobody would have voted for this fool. And I almost lost it. So basically I wrote this poem to remind myself and not lose my mind, you know. And so I wouldn't forget. Because, I hinted at it before. People talk about, how it's all over. I'm 82 or going on 820. And so a lot of the stuff you folks think is new, I've seen it. I've been there, and it's coming back, and it's coming back even more furious and more sophisticated than it was before. So be careful, folks, and hold on to the good people in your life like white on rice, because that's the only way you can make it through. So this poem is called I Know We Can. At the end, I want you to help me with this, because I think it's impossible to get through this unless we hold on to this reality and know that we can get through it. We have been here before. We've sang in the face of the Klan and danced with feet all bloody on the decks of slave ships, on the longest walk, on freedom marches and jail cells and concentration camps, ghettos that we're supposed to call our homes. We know this place. The concrete jungles, the reservations, a curse of and by the uncivilized who have forgotten the healing beauty of grass and trees and the gift of clean water to drink and have lost their ability to love. We are familiar with the senseless mayhem of perpetual war, the addictive lust for power and the intoxication of bloodlust. And those who prefer the inhumane sacrifice of their souls as they try to steal ours, yes. I say, yes, we have been here before. We know the hanging tree, the rope, the rape of our bodies, our cultures, the theft of our songs and our children. We have swam through the slime of misogyny. We've been here. We know. Racism, greed, and stupidity have no conscience, and it's only a matter of time before the insatiable self-destruct, before they devour each other. We've been through it all before, and we can get through it all again. We just have to be careful, very, very, very careful. The madness of this narcotic is contagious. We must not get drunk on the stench of this poison. We have too much work to do. We must turn the suicidal drug into fertilizer and let our tears fall down on deserts, glaciers, and jungles and run down the faces of good-hearted people everywhere. I cry and 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 I cry. My tears come down like a waterfall. an unending waterfall for all the victims of civilization. We have been here before, and together we can heal. I know we can. Can you say it with me? Come on. I know we can. Say it. I can't hear you say it. I know we can. Come on. Say it again. I know we can. I know we can. Thanks to Heshima Mark Williams and all the people who read. Eric Whittington, you know, if you haven't been here before, please support this place. This is a temple, and every weekend is always some live music. I mean, there's always good stuff here. So, and you, and Heather, and Dr. Kim, you know, thank you, thank you, thank you. And with that, I'm going to shut up. Can you stick that over there with that book?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Everyone, another round of applause for Avacha. It was everything I dreamed of and more. Such a pleasure, such an honor. Yeah, hold on one second. It's stuck right up under it right there. Yeah, everyone, we can't thank you enough for coming out to celebrate with us. And this was a special night, and I want you to take it with you and keep it with you and remember what you experienced tonight. It was special to me, and I think it was to you too. And a special round of applause to Heshima, who brought such beautiful, beautiful talent. Avacha was telling me about them, and it is more than I ever imagined. So thank you so very much. It's a pleasure.
I've got a proposal.
Oh, yes.
I would like all the participants to come up so we can have a class photo because I think it's a VSOP.
Oh, great
which is a
idea.
Very special one-time performance.
Great idea.
So come on up and let's see if we can do that.
Oh, yeah. While everyone's gathering to come up here,
Yeah, class
we want to
photo
mention tomorrow, please, you must join us at the Museum of the African Diaspora. Do you all know where that is? On Mission Street. We're going to have a big, big, big show with many of the poets from Black Fire This Time, the anthology we've been talking about tonight. And two of San Francisco's poet laureates will be reading, Tongo Asen Martin and Devorah Major. And it's going to be spectacular. And Avacha will be there, and Raymond Nat Turner. So it's an event not to miss. So everyone, please come out to the museum tomorrow. Starts at 6:30 p.m. Okay, come on up for photos. Let's get this quick photo. What a great idea. Yep. Raymond Nat, come on up.
I know Dr. Gabbins.
You do? Oh, awesome. Oh,
She just retired.
oh, she did? Oh,
Because
didn't
we're
know.
kind of coalesce around Avacha.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, she can be right. Yeah, right there. Well, actually, yeah, I guess we could. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
For having that idea, man, I'm gonna bring it. If you take me in, I'll get your voucher, man. I'll ring it.
Hey, there we go. Right down on the floor, right there. There we go. There we go. Now I'm gonna use. There's probably gonna be a lot of cameras that are gonna be in action here. Because are you gonna take this? I'm gonna give you my camera too as well.
Royce is a photographer of
Yeah,
choice.
right.
Royce is a photographer of choice.
He knows the drill.
Yeah.
All right.
Say voucher.
Got that again.
Keep that pose. Royce said keep that pose.
Bye, thank you.
Sister, you're not leaving.
Thank you. Wow, that was cool, man.
That was a good idea, man. You're brilliant, man.
Yeah. So, well, you got one more?
Hey.
Oh, from that camera there? Okay, and then you can ship it out to the participants.
Oh, okay. Look at this man.
Okay, hey, there's a couple. How many? We gotta face this way first. Hey, so you come over here. Okay.
Yeah. Once you get there, yeah. There we go.
That shot. works out. That's how you put a little.
This man is brilliant.
Yes, he is.
Man, that's very special, man. It was so spiritual today, man. Oh man, these people.
I'm gonna have to run in. I'm gonna have to run up and just bring the blood.
Yeah, Delta Blues. This is John Hurt.
You got a bonus.
Oh my God. I mean, I used to go like almost every weekend.
Okay.
And it's dancing with, because before the Black Power thing really kind of caused, it was part of the separation. The clueless hippie stuff and the Black Power sort of created the schism. But there was a moment there when people were together. And it was just beautiful. I thought it was going to be like that forever.
Yeah, I heard about the story.
We were just